Okay. You're joining us from London. Okay. How about you? Let me see. Kobe. Where are you joining us from? You can drop it on the chats. Michael, Ifunanya, Oziova, T-Blaze, you're just joining us. So where are you joining us from? And what tech career would you like to gain experience in? Only Uche has responded. Okay, Michael, SOC. You're joining from Newcastle. Welcome, Michael. Guys, I would like to get to know us. Welcome, Agoswo, Daniel. You're welcome. Kobe from London, SOC analyst as well. Nice. So we have a lot of cybersecurity professionals here. And it's actually very fantastic because that is exactly what we'll be discussing today. So today you would see why companies trust our interns, or let me say our consultants, because saying internship is more like, limiting the amount of job and the amount of work they do. T-Blaze, GRC, nice. So today we are going to be talking about what makes Amdari interns different, okay? Why most cybersecurity professionals don't get hired, okay? The Amdari work experience internship in a brief, and then we have a special offer for everyone that's going to be joining us. Oh, wow, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Ifunaya, joining from Freetown. I hope I'm not pronouncing that bad, in UK. All right, guys, we have an attendance form there. Please, if you'd like us to reach out to you, please fill the attendance form, okay? We'll also send some of this, their presentation. You would like to get them in your email, please fill the form. And we also do send, some important information to the people we have their data. So you may want to fill the attendance form so we can have your number, your emails for, some information we used to dish out to our, people that we have their contact. So today, who is speaking to you? All right, my name is Ozichi Ahamefula. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I am a growth and product marketing professional. That is all I have to say, and I work with Amdari. So I don't want to go so much details about me because I'm not a cybersecurity professional. I want all focus to be on our interns today when they will start presenting for us. So who are these interns? They'll be what they're going to do today, okay? I'm not going to start describing or making too much explanation. I'll keep everything brief, okay? So these are our interns, Temitope Samuel Badero. He's an ethical hacking consultant. And then we have Abdallah Folarunshaw, SOC analyst consultant in Amdari. And they're going to show us what they've been doing. So straight to the point, after they are done, then I'll go ahead to tell you more about how to get the internship experience and how you can land the job with work experience. Because obviously, as a cybersecurity professional, no matter the amount or how many certifications you gather, right? If you don't have experience and you cannot, that cybersecurity profession is more like a kind of pressure job. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Cybersecurity job is a little bit pressured. Exactly. There is pressure in it. So imagine being hired when you don't have strong technical skill. And the first month a company hired you, that is when the company is facing their first, what they call it, cyber attack. Before you walk around what to do, before you start looking for who will help you, before you start asking ChatGPT and going to YouTube to find solution, you know what will happen to that company website or app. You know what's going to happen. So that's the reason why no matter how many certifications you have, no matter how many certifications you pass, if you don't have strong technical skills, you cannot work independently. You will not get a job in cybersecurity. And because of this, a lot of persons will be like, oh, cybersecurity is saturated. It's not saturated. But today we are going to listen to our interns, of which they came in, okay, with just basic knowledge, most of them. But they will let you know. They will let you know with what they will present, you will understand the kind of skill they've built so far, the kind of projects they've worked on, and how much they've improved. Okay, so you get to see the kind of projects you get to work on when you join Amdari. Okay, so the first person that is going to be presenting for us is Temitope Samuel Badero, an ethical hacking consultant in Amdari. So the floor is for you, Temi. Go ahead. You can share your slide now. Let me stop sharing mine.
Okay, thank you, Ozichi. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here this evening to share my presentation with everyone. Okay, just a minute. I hope my presentation is visible to everyone. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Just a minute. Okay. Okay, so I'll just start. This was the very first project I embarked upon when I joined Amdari in March 2025, and the specialization was on web application penetration testing for this Gruyere e-commerce platform. It's actually an online premium cheese marketplace. So this online marketplace specializes in artisanal cheeses sourced from the finest dairy farms around the world. And they were facing a problem of security vulnerabilities that could expose customer data, disrupt their transactions, even damage trust. And this made penetration testing crucial for safeguarding the e-commerce platform. The objective of the project was to identify and exploit security vulnerabilities in the e-commerce platform and also assess the potential risks, and in addition, provide remediation strategies that will enhance the overall security posture of this platform. So coming from, would I say, kind of non-too-technical background, I had prior knowledge of using some of these tools like Kali Linux, Nmap, Bob Suite, but this project really helped me to gain more hands-on experience and deeper knowledge of using these tools. So Kali Linux was used to perform the penetration testing on the web application. It was used to identify common web vulnerabilities such as the XSS, CSRF, and the path traversal. Nmap was used to scan the web application's host to discover the open ports and services running, and also to aid in initial reconnaissance. And Bob Suite was used to intercept and analyze the HTTP requests and responses in the web application, and also to identify and exploit the web vulnerabilities. And Nikto, a very good exploitation or vulnerability tool, was used to identify the vulnerabilities on this web application, outdated software, and some common misconfigurations. So I'll just take you briefly through the project. I was able to identify a total of 8 security issues, which I categorized as follows. There were 5 high severity findings. The first one was stored XSS, or stored cross-site scripting, which will enable an authenticated attacker to inject malicious JavaScript and also execute whenever an affected page is loaded. The second one was privilege escalation, where users with certain edit permissions could modify user roles and even escalate their privileges to become super admin, even though this function is not visibly available in the front-end UI. Then another severity was cookie manipulation, which is a type of session hijacking or privilege escalation attack. This falls under the client-side attacks because it involves tampering with cookies that are stored in a browser. The fourth one was the weak password requirements available on the platform, and it allowed users to set passwords that are so easy to guess or even crack. And this includes passwords that could be too short, without any complexity. You could use only numbers or letters, or based on even common phrases or dictionary words. And the fifth one was HTML injection, which occurs when an attacker inserts malicious scripts into web applications input fields. And this is then rendered by the browser when others view that page. In addition to those five high severity findings, we also discovered 3 medium security findings, which include file inclusion, file upload vulnerabilities. Certain file upload mechanisms lacked proper validation, and which potentially allowed malicious file execution. There was another one, redirected URL vulnerability, where an attacker could manipulate or redirect the parameters, leading users to malicious sites designed for phishing or even malware delivery. And there was also reflected cross-site scripting, which is a type of web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to inject malicious scripts into a web application. And these are immediately reflected back to the user's browsers and executed. So I will take you through each of the findings with some of the snapshots that showed what how the attack was carried out. I will start by talking about the file inclusion and file upload vulnerability. As a tester, I was able to upload different files in the snippet section of the web application, which included uploading an image and even adding a text that displayed on the web app, which should not be. So here are just 2 images that showed how that attack was carried out. And the mitigation against this kind of attack or vulnerability is to validate and restrict file uploads by allowing only specific file types and enforcing strict file name and size constraints. There was another vulnerability was privilege escalation. So after having been able to log in with my account that I created, I was able to elevate my privilege to super admin. And usually the super admin role is unable to be modified via the front end of the application. But as you can see here, here's the first picture. I was able to join, I created this, and then I became administrator here. I created the account successfully, and then this gave me elevated privilege. As you can see here, this Omoboti2 account has this feature beside it, manage this server, which means this user can manage the whole server and make changes. And I did not stop there. I elevated to admin status. And of course, if an attacker had this access, it could damage the platform, hijack, take total control of the platform. To remediate or to mitigate against this privilege escalation, it is advised that the admin of this application will implement strict access controls by enforcing the role of least privilege, which ensures that users can only modify roles and permissions that they are only explicitly authorized for. I'll go further. There was another finding, redirected URL vulnerability. I observed that after signing up and logging in on the snippet page, there was one tab there or one link there. When you choose it, Kidas Max, it redirects you to this Google search page. And there was another one called Bryce All Snippets, which redirects you to this, you can see these different websites, which should not be. This is an e-commerce platform selling cheese. And then you are being redirected to something entirely different. To remediate against this, it is important that there should be rules for permitted redirect destinations to ensure users are only redirected to trusted URLs and not random ones that was currently occurring on the web application. Another finding was HTML injection. In this Gruyere web app, I was successfully able to carry out HTML injection and cross-site scripting, specifically through stored XSS attack. And here is a short description of what I did. And you can see here, I was able to successfully execute this testing document.cookie alert. And to remediate against this, it's important to implement strict input validation and output encoding to prevent the injection of unauthorized HTML content into web pages. You can imagine if a web business, this e-commerce platform, customers are viewing it and they are seeing all sorts of random text that is not related to what the business is about. That could damage their reputation and possibly lead to loss of customers. Here is another finding, SQL injection. For this, I used Nikto to discover the vulnerabilities on the web app. Here, you can see the scan results, and it showed a lot of vulnerabilities. And in addition to that, I was able to carry out an SQL injection. And you can see here, I was able to successfully load this text. It says, alert, hello, pay the ransom. Another was, you have been hacked. And well, these kind of things are things that should not be happening on the web application. So to mitigate against this kind of vulnerabilities, anti-clickjacking or X content type options or HTTP method restrictions, is important that the header with the value deny or same origin to prevent the website from being embedded in iframes or effectively protecting it from clickjacking attacks. It's also important to restrict the HTTP methods by configuring the server to allow only necessary methods and disabling unsafe methods like put, delete, trace that reduce attack surface and prevent unauthorized actions. Another finding was cookie manipulation, where I was able to upload a malicious HTML file that contained a cookie that will steal snippets, and this was successfully uploaded and executed. And after execution, it triggered an alert box displaying an arbitrary message. You can see this was the cookie alert. To mitigate against this, it's important to set the cookies for HTTP only, secure, and same-site attributes to prevent client-side access and ensure encryption in transit, and even mitigate cross-site request forgery, CSRF attacks. It was also discovered that the website had, the web application had weak password requirements. I used different usernames to sign up, and each time there were no requirements for the password. And as a result, we discovered the following: there was insufficient password complexity, there was no password length enforcement, there was absence of account lockout mechanism. If, for instance, you are trying to input password several times, you could input it as many times as you want, and you will not be locked out, which is not safe. There was weak or no password hashing. There is no password expiry policy. There was not even one-factor authentication. I added two-factor. There's not even one. There's no authentication required currently on the web application. And this is a very weakness or a big vulnerability that could expose that web application to lots of attacks. And another finding was the stored cross-site scripting, XSS. And I think I've mentioned something similar to this earlier. I was able to inject multiple payloads successfully to the application, which demonstrates that that web application is vulnerable to stored XSS attacks. To mitigate against this, it's important to implement proper input validation, to apply secure output encoding, content security policy, and then use secure HTTP headers in order to prevent this kind of attack. In conclusion, the project successfully demonstrated how insecure coding practices can lead to common web vulnerabilities, such as XSS, CSRF, and path traversal. The project involved using tools like Kali Linux, Nmap, Brob Suite, and Nikto, which were effectively utilized to identify and exploit all the mentioned vulnerabilities. Manual testing also complemented the automated tools that enabled us to better understand the application's behavior and the security flaws. And the findings highlighted the importance of secure session management, input validation, and access control in web application development. It is expected that the owners of the web application will go back and then look through these reports and try to implement the recommended mitigations in order to prevent or mitigate these vulnerabilities. That'll be all. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope I did not bore you. I want to say thank you again to Amdari for giving me this opportunity. It's been a very wonderful experience, and I hope those who are here thinking of whether to join or not will definitely make up their minds to join. Thank you.
Thank you so much, TBS or TSB. I always forget your full name. But however, if you have questions for him, okay, you say that exactly. So if you have questions for him, then you can ask him. We're just going to take 5 minutes to ask him question while the next person comes up. Okay, if you have questions, just raise your hands and then you can ask him. Any question you have for him, raise your hand. I'll call you up. You unmute your mic and then you ask him. Okay, would there be? Give me a minute. Let me give you access to unmute your mic. Okay, then you ask him. Go ahead.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, this was super easy. Thank you for the class. It was really like you performed some magic there. If we register on Amdari, would we be able to do this as well?
Well, I would say for me, Amdari only complemented the skills
what you
I had.
already know. Sure.
Yes, because I already had background knowledge of penetration testing from Try Hack Me. I've been on different websites, the Cyber Mentor. What else? I had ISC CC2 certificate, Google Cybersecurity. So I've been having some hands-on, but the work experience was missing, which Amdari now bridged.
True. Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually a JRC person, but this is like really eye-opening. Thank you for the time and thank you for the knowledge shared. Right.
Okay, thank you, Odebi, for the question. Does anyone else have question before I call up the next person? Does anyone have question? Okay, so since no one else have question for Mr. Tosi, right? So I'm gonna call up Princess. You have question? Okay, go ahead. You can ask him.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. The way I was listening to the analysis of that kind of penetration testing, it sounded really very interesting. But I want to ask, assuming that one does not have that level of background knowledge that our guy has, if one doesn't have up to that level, how would Amdari fill in the gap?
Well, let me respond. I have a partner I'm working with currently who also has very little knowledge. But I can assure you the consultants or the mentors rather, they are very patient. They are ready to guide. I think what it takes majorly is the desire to learn. Okay, if there's a desire to learn, the people are there to guide and to push that person to learn the necessary skills so that you can also be at that level.
All right, so would you be giving something like a dummy server to use in the process of receiving this training?
Yes, what we got was
because you know how it works with Try Hack Me. When they give you this kind of
dummy server. Yeah, for Amdari, you get the IP or the web application which you download on your VM. Okay, and from there you can continue carrying out the attacks directly on your machine, not a dummy server per se. Yeah. So these are real life web application. This Gruyere is a live application, even though it's specifically designed for students or trainees or interns, but still you can log into it and you will see the platform.
So at what point at what point in time during the period of the training is this platform available to one?
For me, this was the first project. I got this the first week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was my first project with Amdari.
Okay, that's impressive. That's fine. Thank you.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Thank you, Princess. Agboso, be the last person before we call up Abdallah to present. Go ahead, Agboso.
For point of correction, it's pronounced Agboswa, sorry.
Agboso, sorry for
Or
wondering your
or you just basically just say Daniel.
channel. Okay, Agboso,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So thank you so much, Mr. Temitope, for like a breathtaking session. Like I was you know, I was inspired. So I have a couple of questions for you, and it's kind of like, did you make use of Metasploit?
For this project, no. There's one I'm currently working on where I'm using Metasploit.
Can I know the reason why you didn't use Metasploit, please?
For this, it was not required because it was just a simple web application, and the scope required only identifying vulnerabilities, which were so easy to identify without going through Metasploit.
Okay. Because to the best of my knowledge, I think Metasploit provides better web delivery scripts rather than the other ones that you use.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, like I said, that was my very first project with Amdari. So, I think it's increasing with level of complexity. So Bob Suite, Nikto, Nmap, they were just basic tools that helped kickstart the experience.
Okay. So do you have, so did you by any chance like make use of the TCP connection?
Not necessarily, because this was a web application that you could easily log into. It only required you to create an account, log in, and then I was able to use Nikto to identify the vulnerabilities. All the other things around this web application was trying to, after creating accounts, escalate your privilege, and then try to inject HTML or SQL injection, or try to add HTML script. Everything could be done directly on the web application, and in addition to Bob Suite.
Okay, because at some point you made mention of file uploads, if I'm correct.
Yes, it was directly available on the website.
Okay, so there was no need for you to insert any form of command injection in order to discover like some vulnerability. So the only method you actually used was through file uploads, if I'm getting you correctly.
Yes, majorly through file upload. The other vulnerabilities were identified through Nikto.
Okay, gotcha. No problem. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Daniel. Like he said, this was his first project. So when you join Amdari, I will get into details about that. When you join Amdari, they don't just give you the hardest or the toughest, project. As a project comes from our business partners, your line managers will just pick the simpler ones, especially when you just get onboarded. Okay, that's the first one you're going to work on. So you use it to start familiarizing yourself with how to use these tools. Okay, that was how it works. So now we're going to be calling up Abdallah to come and make his own presentation as well. Hi, Abdallah.
Hello, Ozichi. Thank you for the invite. Good evening, everyone. My name is Abdallah Foloronsha. Hold on, I'm loading my screen. Can you see my screen now? Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Abdallah Foloronsha. I'm an intern at Amdari. And before I go on, I have technical background because I'm currently working as an IT engineer and information security analyst for a firm. So I mostly based on compliance. But because I want to hone my skills and gain more technical knowledge, then I came about Amdari on Instagram and Facebook, and I researched more about the company, and then the rest is history. And actually, on Amdari here, let me call him my boss, Tofu. and other teams, the other team members, they really tried to work for us because there are some tools that, let me say, I haven't even heard about them before, or some I've heard about them and I don't have hands-on experience. And thanks to Amdari, we are able to gain more technical knowledge about about the tools. So this, like my colleague Temisope, so this is the first project I also work on, which is a phishing incident at a company called Zenith Solutions.
You're not sharing your slide yet.
Oh, can't you see? Oh, sorry. I thought you're looking at it. Hold on. Oh, can you see it now? Oh, so sorry about that. Okay, like I was saying, so this is the first project also, like my colleague, and this is about it is a phishing attack that happened at a company called Zenith Solutions. So this is the table of contents of the report. And this is about the company. So Zenith Solution is a mid-sized IT services company based in the UK. The headquarters is in the UK, and they have branches in North America, Europe, and everywhere. And on April 1st, 9:42, so there was an attack that happened on the company, a phishing email. Someone sent a phishing email to the team members. So the person is impersonating one of the employees by sending a phishing email. So telling the employees to click on this email to reset the password. So this is the incident overview. Spoof sender. The email was sent from a spoof sender impersonating Zenith IT solutions team. Actually, the person was impersonating one of the members that they are not staff. The email is called John Doe at Zenith Solutions.co.uk. So the email contains malicious URL while it was telling the team members to click on this URL, click on this link to reset your password. And one of the tactics that was used in this email is one of these social engineering tactics that the attackers employed to tell users or to manipulate users in providing the information, so which is urgency, telling them, okay, please click on this before this time so that you can be able to reset your password on time. So the intent of the attacker is to harvest the user's credentials, and from there, so the attackers will be able to gain access to critical organization system and be able to perform the evil deed. So when the report was drafted, so we drafted the executive summary to be submitted to the executive staffs. So, and this is the incident ID and severity, and this is what happened. So, phishing attack detected on April 17th. The SOC team detected the attack. So, malicious email bypassed sender policy framework, so which is the filters. So, it was targeted at internal staff, so which led to credential harvesting sites. So, 2 users' accounts were compromised, which is John Doe. That is the spoofed account. So John Doe actually received the email, then click on the link, so which made the attacker hijack John Doe's account. And A. Smith did not actually click on the link. Just he sent the email to another staff member. So what we did is, so these 2 accounts were blocked. The endpoint, the devices were isolated, and and scanned for further investigations. So these are the key findings from the incident. So when the SOC team were analyzing the information that was provided to us, so this is what we noticed. So we noticed that the sender was able to bypass the internet security, and the email successfully landed in the staff mailbox. And also, what to notice that the attacker was doing is that the attacker was able to successfully, harvest some credentials from John Doe, A. Smith, and the third staff that actually got the email from A. Smith. So, and also the attacker, one of the tactics the attacker used was to use PowerShell. So write a script to use PowerShell to remotely download some a ransomware file to the user's devices. So the sorry about that, please.
So while we wait for him to, regain his screen, please, if you not fill the attendance form, please fill the attendance form so you can get the recording of the session and more information that comes with it. Thank you.
So sorry about that. So the attacker was able to successfully install some ransomware files on the user's devices. So the devices were isolated, like I said, for further scanning and further investigation by the SOC team. So this is what we did: immediate action taken. So the URL in the email was blocked, so the account was disabled, and the endpoints, which is the devices, isolated. And also we reviewed the logs from the devices, and also we conducted threat hunting to look for malicious services or malicious actions which the attacker is performing on the endpoint or on the user's email, a compromised account. So after that, we dive into technical analysis, which is how the email was delivered to the account, and which accounts have been compromised, which users click on the email, and which link did they click on, and what's the action the link actually carry out on the user's headpoint. So the first thing we did is we analyzed the email header. So when we analyzed the email header using virus tutor tools and fish tool, so we checked the SPF. This is the sender policy framework. So we were able to, from the analysis, we were able to detect that there's SPF failure, which means the email came in through a spoofed account and is not an authenticated account. So another thing we noticed is the email coming from this IP address, which resolved in to a known to exist node. And what that means is that the attacker used that to obfuscate or to hide the identity or the activities, so that you won't be able to trace the activity back to them. So, and also what we note from the email is that the message ID is inconsistency. So the message ID does not match the purported sending domain. There is another address in the email address, and the address that was in the email address is different from where the email is coming from. So the sender is different. So we're able to note that, okay, this is actually a malicious email address, and missing the DMARC and DKIM validations. So also pointed that, okay, this email is actually malicious, is not genuine. So after that, so we were able to, from the from the materials that were provided to us, so we're able to analyze flag responses from the users. So from our analysis, we discover that, okay, one user click on the link, which actually lead to the attack, and we also learned that one user did not click on the link, but reported the issue to the IT, and from there the IT were able to pick it up. Okay, what is happening? And another user did not report, but send that email to another member of staff, so which will now make the attack go viral among among the users, and they were able to infiltrate the network. So one of the things we noticed that the attacker wrote a Python, well, what is it called? Wrote a Python code to infiltrate the what is it called? To infiltrate the security and to design solution security. So what the malicious mailbox rules, what it did is that, so it is auto forwarding rule. The first one is auto forwarding rule, where it's created a sensitive emails. It's the rule sent we're able to bypass the security and send exfiltrate that data from Zenith Solutions and send it to an external email address. So, and also the attacker did something that's called auto deletion rule with the script. So the attacker set up a rule to delete security warnings from the email box. So because at times when email landed to your account, usually through Google and through Yahoo Mail, it will be by Microsoft, it will be flagged that, okay, this email is malicious, do not click on it. But that with the script, the message or the notification did not pop up. So which the attacker was able to bypass the security control. So and the user click on it, so without being notified. And also it's access concealment. These malicious rules demonstrate the attacker's strategy to maintain long-term access by manipulating mailbox rules. The attacker aims to avoid detection and continue the activities undisturbed and undetected. Also, so after that, so we're able to analyze the endpoint, and this is what we got from the endpoint. So we detected that the user John Doe successfully logged in from internal IP address, because this is a local IP address, indicating potential lateral movement. So, and also when we conduct further investigation, we notice that although this might be local IP address, but the attacker logged in from a remote location and concealed their activities by using the what is it called? The Tor node exit, so that we won't be able to to identify them or to detect what is going on. And also what they did is they install a ransomware file on John Doe and Smith on Smith account, which that is in cybersecurity is called advanced persistent threats, so that they'll be on the network for a long time, and you'll be able to notice them until they did a very big damage. So the endpoint was analyzed using Splunk, and we write some PowerShell scripts to analyze the endpoint, and this is one of the screenshots from the analysis. So which is PowerShell executions too. So this is a PowerShell executions, and also we analyze the user activity logs. So we detect that multiple authentication attempts were logged. Some of them were failed because the attacker was trying to brute force the user's login, and some of them were successful, which leads to the attack. And also the user wrote a PowerShell script to hijack the to cause a botnet attack, which you'll be able to control the endpoint from a remote location without being at the premises and without being detected. So with the PowerShell script, we notice, and when we analyze the PowerShell script, we notice that okay, the PowerShell script is the user attacker is actually trying to use that to harvest users' credential and use this for their for their activities. And also they try to install malware on the endpoints of which they actually installed it, and also remote code execution so the attacker execute the remote JavaScript payload. So it allows the attacker to run arbitrary code on the compromised system. So this capability significantly threatens system integrity and data security. So what we notice also is that is phishing delivery. So the phishing attack utilized a malicious URL to trick users into entering their credentials on a spoof login page. So this tactic was part of a broader phishing campaign targeting multiple users. And like I said earlier, this is one of the social engineering tactics used by attackers to to manipulate users into clicking or into providing sensitive information to them. And also from the PowerShell analysis, so what we notice also is security invasion. So the use of native PowerShell commands increases the likelihood of evading traditional security measures. So this reliance on built-in tools complicates detection without advanced monitoring. So from our analysis and investigation, so we're able to identify indicators of compromise, ROCs. So the first one, one of the indicators of compromise that we were able to detect is malicious domains, which is zenithitresearch.support, which is not a genuine domain. So it's a spoof domain when we use virus totals and everything to analyze the domain. And we also use Cisco Talos and some of other OSINT tools to analyze it. And also, we identified that this IP address is actually a suspicious IP address, and it's been flagged by multiple OSINT tools. Okay, this IP address, this is very dangerous, and it's considered malicious. And also, one of the indicators of compromise that we notice is that when with the PowerShell script that the attackers wrote, so the attacker was able to install ransomware or some malware files on the user endpoint. So this what is it called? This this is getting from file hashes is getting from the endpoint and from the files. So we use a Cyberchef to check this up and some other tools, and we're able to detect that okay, these file hashes are also malicious, and they come from the malware that the attacker installed on those endpoints. And also we check this URL, and we can we checked it on VirusTotal, Cisco Talos, and on Phish2, and this is a malicious URL used in phishing attack, a multiple phishing attack. This is not the first one. And also, so from the analysis on the endpoints, we noticed that the user installed malicious file on the user endpoint, which updated, which indicates a backdoor, a persistent mechanism to infiltrate the network and also to harvest credentials, the user's credentials, and maybe sell it for them for some reasons. So after that, so we were able to map the we conduct mapping analysis. So, and this is what we this is our conclusion on the meta mapping. So the first thing is initial assets. So a phishing email impersonated internal communication, which is IT@zenithsolutions.com, and also the execution of PowerShell was used to download a phishing page locally. And we also discover a persistence, which is installed services indicate tactics for persistence. And we also, from the auto-forwarding rules, the JavaScript that was written, so we noticed the auto-forwarding rules were created to siphon off emails and users' credentials. And also, from the command and control, so malicious domain were used for external communication, so that the user won't be able to detect what is happening, or this is this a does this really come from IT or not? So after that, we perform root cause analysis. So which is phishing email, what is the root cause of the problem and everything, which is phishing email, targeting internal staff to reset the password, and also a PowerShell execution was used for remote command execution, including downloading malicious script and installing suspicious services for persistence. And also user credentials. So they used, and the attacker was able to use this user John Doe to infiltrate the network, because this user clicked on the phishing URL, and also malicious inbox rules. So the attacker created a script to infiltrate the network and bypass basic security controls. So this is the impact analysis. So what is the impact of the attack? It's confidentiality breach, so compromised via auto-forwarding rule to external factor, so which is potential leakage of financial and credential-related information, and also it is that could also lead to lack of trust of customer trust, and also integrity risks. So at risk due to execution of unlawful script, breach of data confidentiality may disrupt internal workflows, and also availability disruption. So assuming the SOC team are not able to detect this attack early on and tackle it, so we wouldn't know what is happening, and that could lead to availability, the network going down, and eventually shutting down all the network. So operational trust and erosion, like I said earlier, this could lead to a lack of breach, a lack of customer trust, and also leads to lawsuits and everything, and degraded security posture. So degraded due to alert evasion and misuse of legitimate tools, reliance on built-in tools, hinder detection capabilities. And this, after that, so this is the response and recovery that that was taken after analyzing the email header, the emails, the endpoint. So we isolate the endpoints for further analysis, and also malicious services were removed by imaging the system, maybe through SCCM or maybe through Intune, and bringing them back online, and also credential resets. All those compromised accounts were disabled, and the password reset, and we check if any data has been exfiltrated from those user accounts to external accounts. And also we did system restoration, so we get the system back online on the affected systems after successfully removing the malware, and also the PowerShell script that was deployed to the machines. Network monitoring. So after that, full threat hunting exercises were launched to sweep internal network traffic and logs for indicators of compromise. Specific detection rules for suspicious domains were integrated into the system, and the real-time alert was conducted. And also this is the so after writing the report and submitting it to the executive, so we perform post-incident actions. So we look at what goes wrong, what goes well, and what in this situation what can we do to what can we do better. So then with the validation steps, so all affected hosts were audited to perform full imaging. A compliance rate of 100% with updated security policies was achieved. So monitoring and enhancements, so we continue monitoring rules were deployed to detect suspicious PowerShell usage. Unauthorized services installations were also eliminated. So, and we also like we all know, human are the weakest link in cybersecurity. So we perform targeted training, phishing training, cybersecurity training for staff that interacted with the link and click on the link, and also policy reinforcement. Email filtering policies were reviewed and updated to enhance security. So firewall rule was reviewed again, so to tighten the security. Network segmentation through VLAN was also implemented, and also the sender policy framework was updated in order to include the malicious URL, and also a strict access role and also role-based access control was implemented. So that because we look at those users, assuming they have the highest privilege. Now, so if in case of whaling or spear phishing attack, that could have been a disastrous event for Zenith Solutions. So all those were so we review the access control, making sure that any data has not been tampered with or infiltrated. So policy reinforcement, like I said, email phishing policies were reviewed and updated to enhance security. Mailbox auditing settings for forwarding rule detection were strengthened. So then we document the incident. So a full incident timeline, artifacts, IOCs, and response steps were documented. Findings were shared internally with IT and security teams for knowledge building. And after that, so lesson learned. So this is a lesson learned from the incident. So email security gaps were identified, and where we put that down for a continuous review and monitoring. So PowerShell monitoring is crucial for detecting malicious rules. We can from the report and from the attack, we can we detect that there's no sufficient tools or sufficient security. The security posture was not strong enough to detect the PowerShell script that was deployed to the endpoint. Also, user awareness. So proactive user behavior can mitigate attacks. So if Smith or John Doe had not click on the email or send the email to another user, maybe the attack might not have happened in the first place. So we conducted targeted training for those users, and also implement a stronger password policy and complex password also for the users. So incident documentation, the incident timeline and responses were documented for future reference also and submitted to the relevant authority, management, stakeholders, and everyone. So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Abdallah. Thank you so much. So I see Princess' hands is up. So Princess, you have questions for Abdallah? Hi, Princess Samuel. Do you have questions for Abdallah?
No, sorry. I didn't put down the hand after the first time. But
okay, and Abdallah, can you tell us your specialization?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you didn't tell us your specialization.
SOC analyst.
Okay.
For Amdari, yeah.
Okay, so if you have questions for Amdallah, this is the time to ask him anything. All right, Michael, almost so sure. Go ahead. Michael, you can unmute your mic. Hi, Michael. Can you hear us? You can unmute your mic and ask the questions. Okay, while we wait for Mike, maybe he's struggling with his microphone. If any other person has questions for Abdallah, you can raise your hand and then go ahead and ask him before I start. Do you have questions for Abdallah? Michael, if you cannot unmute your mic, maybe you would like to log off and come back again if you're having issues accessing your microphone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hi, Abdallah. Thanks for the presentation. Are you there? Hi, my question is, from the analysis, you talked about that the attacker wrote some Python codes. Okay.
Yeah.
So because of this Python thing, it has been issues because I'll be studying cybersecurity for the past three years in the college here in the UK. So because of this, and Python has really been one of my issues. That's why I'm just trying to find a way where I can really I can avoid it. Okay. So and if you are not really good in Python, so in coding, is there any way you can really figure out yourself, or you can as a SOC analyst, do you really need, like you said, the attacker wrote some Python? What about if you are not really good? Because I only know the basics, to be honest. Okay, I really don't know much. because it got to a stage when they started taking us the complex one. I was really discouraged because I just feel it's not my thing. So what about if you are not really good to how will you be able to cope, or how will you be able to mitigate the code you, because you said the attacker wrote a code in a Python and stuff, and that really gripped my mind. It's okay, I'm going to ask you about it. How can someone go around it if you are not really good in Python or in any kind of coding?
Okay.
That's the question. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Actually, I also am not, I'm not good at Python because I'm also the learner, like I said earlier before starting my presentation. There are some technical skills that I lack, and that's the reason why I joined Amdari. But the good thing about Amdari is you have to you work in peers, so with other group members. So if there is something that you are not good at, and you have another group member to complement you, and also you have the leadership that will put you through, like Mr. Tofu is this leader of SOC analyst. So it will put you through in Python. And also, as a SOC analyst, it's not necessarily, it's a good to have skills, which by coding Python, PowerShell, is a good to have skill. But you not necessarily, if you don't know, if you know little about Python, not necessarily you have that knowledge, but at least you have maybe basic knowledge in Python or maybe PowerShell. That's it. And there's some also platforms that you can, like Amdari, they have these crash courses you can do on some skills that you are not convenient or you are not efficient with.
Okay. Thank you, Abdullah. God bless you.
Yeah, from you too.
Okay, does any other person have questions for Abdallah? All right. Thank you, Omotosho, for the question. Thank you, Abdallah, for that wonderful presentation. And if you've not filled the attendance form, please try and fill the attendance form. Now, let's face it, okay? You've seen our interns. They're not just only two, right? There are other persons, but we are very thankful they had the opportunity to come present, okay? Voluntarily come to present to us what they've been working on, or one of the projects they've been working on. Okay, this is not the only project they've worked on. Like they said, it's their first project. And since then, let me even ask, Abdallah, how many projects have you guys worked on since then?
Well, we're like on our third project, and that one is even more complex than this.
It's more complex than this.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Temitokbe?
Yeah, same. I'm on my third project now. And yeah, it's a bit more complex.
So you see, the first project is usually a bit easier just to welcome you. When you land a job, okay, the company don't just bombard you with a lot of projects to do or a lot of work. They allow you to assimilate. Okay, they allow you to assimilate and embed into the system first before they start giving you the hard work. And that's why we have the probation, right? The first 3 months probation period, where your first month they are still doing welcome for you. They're just giving you little tax. So that was what they faced in their first, their first project. And now they are facing the real deal. Okay, and let's face it, this is what makes them different. They're able to have team-based projects, some personal projects, some team-based projects, and some cross-functional roles. And some, interns that have cross-functional, roles where they're either working on the platform and they're working with software engineers, they're working with UI, UX designers, and so on and so forth. So this makes it different from someone that is just working on capstone project. And that's the reason why companies, right, no matter how many capstone projects you've worked in, right, if you've not worked in an actual company, they may not hire you. And let me tell you why. Now, these projects they're working on all have timeline. Mr. Tomitokwe, am I lying?
Yes, they are timed.
They all have timeline.
Exactly,
they all have deadlines. So if you're working on a capstone project, that capstone project don't have deadline. You can start a capstone project today and be like, I have something that I'm doing. In the next 3 months, you come back, let me even finish this project. Okay, you're not building the time management skill. You're not building the pressure that comes with the job. And that's the reason why recruiters always prefer candidates that have actual work experience. You can be good. There are persons that are self-motivated, right? They work on capstone projects and they make themselves good by themselves, right? But then it is going to take a miracle for a company to take the risk to hire them, okay? Because they don't have anybody that can vouch for them. They don't have a company they can reference, okay? They can't see an actual project that they've worked on that have real industry impact. That's another thing. Imagine a data analyst talking on, you go to online, go to what's the name of this online platform where people get Kaggle, okay, to get a project, and you're getting projects on data analysis where they're telling you to calculate population, child birth rates, all those WHO, where people get projects as well, okay, to analyze. These things do not actually have industry impact. It is different from what you're going to face in an actual industry. If you get hired in a fintech company, that's not the kind of project you'll be working on. If you get hired in an e-commerce company, that's not the kind of project you'll be working on, okay? And that's exactly why recruiters prefer to hire candidates that had experience. You are able to collaborate with your team. Now they have worked, they have team, they understand how to communicate with the team member. Oh, I'm finding difficult solving this. They have stand-up meetings, right? Mr. Tomito, how many times do people have stand-up meetings in a week?
Twice in a week.
Twice. What about you, Abdallah? Is it same twice in a week? Hi, Abdallah, are you with us?
Hello, I'm with you.
Okay. Do you also have a stand-up meetings twice a week or 3 times or something?
Yeah, at first it was 3 times in a week, but now it's 2 times a week.
Okay. So you see, they get to have stand-up meetings. You will get to meet other persons. You have a group chat where you have to communicate with other of your colleagues. You keep your line manager keep tabs with you to ensure you're working on the project. And I always tell people, if you're working on any project, finding any software difficult, there's always a way around it, okay? For me, I always advise when you're working on a project, anybody, in fact, that's what builds your skill. When you're applying for a job and you have your CV and you're writing time management skill, problem solving skill. What is the problem solving skill? You're working on a project. You're having a difficulty using a particular tool or navigating a particular part in the project. Your problem solving skill should kick in, right? You try taking online, even as a software engineer with 6 years, 7 years experience, that sometimes they get to find bugs they cannot fix. They'll start looking to ChatGPT, they'll look into ChatGPT, they'll use YouTube, they'll find all solutions before they start looking for a friend that, please, I'm trying to fix this thing. Guy, come help me check this thing. Do you understand what I mean? That is where your problem solving skills, come into play. They might know that when they find issues like that, they try to solve it themselves. They have their colleagues they can ask, beg, we are trying to I'm trying to find solution to this problem. How did you navigate it? Okay, if they cannot find solution to it, that's why they have stand-up meetings. They get to let the line manager know, I'm having issue navigating this. They let them know. Okay, they walk them through it. Do they walk you through during stand-up meetings? What do you guys basically do during the stand-up meetings?
We give a brief of what we have done on the project so far. And like you said, if there's any difficulty you are facing, the line manager will walk you through and record and even share the recording with you so you can watch and rewatch as many times.
Thank you. So this is what makes them different. They have team-based experience. They have end-to-end project ownership. They are the ones that they are owning the project themselves. Okay, it's like a child that you want to teach how to cook. Okay, you bring all the ingredients, the child is cooking, you're just standing behind it. Just allow the child to cook. So only thing you direct is when they're making a mistake, you just direct them, this is not how to do it, this is how to do it. But your hands are off, right? The child is making the food themselves. And that is how they get to learn how to cook. Exactly how it feels like as an intern in Amdari, as a consultant in Amdari. Okay, your line manager is there, he's an expert in that field. He's there to help you walk through any difficulty navigating any software, any difficulty navigating any project, okay? And I always encourage, just like a child, if a child that is developing, okay, always need their parents to help them solve a problem, the child will not develop very well. If you think I'm communicating, give me a thumbs up. If a child always needs the parents' help, the child will not develop as much as other kids, okay? But you see kids that can develop properly, you see that sometimes you want to help them wear their slippers. They're telling you, no, leave them, they want to do it themselves. Even when they'll do it wrong, okay, they're developing that skill, right? And that is exactly how it feels like when you put your mind to learn a skill, okay? It's not every time you find one difficulty, you just go and run to your line manager. Try and see if you can navigate it, because when you're trying to navigate a problem, right, you learn a lot along the way. Even at the end of the day, you didn't find the solution, then you come and let your line manager know, or during startup meetings, let them know, right? Now, they get to use a lot of tools Like, someone rightly asked Mr. Tomitope, their first project, they didn't get to use a lot of tools, but as they progress, you get to have hands-on experience. You get to build your skill using a lot of tools you've never heard of. Okay, and they also get to have excellent reading and verbal communication. If I even ask Mr. Tomitope, were you very good at presentation before now? Let me just ask.
Yeah, I present a lot to stakeholders, to lots of people. So for me,
okay,
writing was not so difficult.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Abdallah?
I'm more of a writer than a presenter, but I do present though.
Okay, so I had someone that joined our last week project showcase. The man is a very shy person, and even from the way he's presenting, you realize that he's not really an outgoing person, the shy person, and he doesn't like presenting. But he's a data analyst, and there's no way as a data analyst you say, oh, you want to shy away from presenting. It's not possible. Okay, so trust them. Mr. Tomitope, do you present your findings to the key decision makers or your colleagues when you work during this internship?
This intern mostly to the colleagues.
Okay, mostly to the colleagues. You see, they get to present as well. Do you understand? And that is also building their soft skill, okay, their presentation skill as well. I mean, look at them presenting like this. If you're a recruiter, won't you hire them? And let's just face the truth, right? Now, but the problem is you don't really get this real world experience, because companies will not want to hire you if you don't have experience. And let's face it, if you want to make an outfit, okay, or you have an electrical problem in your house, you have an electrical technician or electrical engineer, a student that just graduated from university, first class student, right? And then you have another one, electrical technician that learns the work, but he has been helping around the streets. I mean, he has been helping people fix, electrical issues. Everybody knows, let's tell ourselves, the person you naturally gravitate towards is the one that has been working, the one that has the experience. The first class student is good though. Orally, is good. He knows everything, how to do the problem, if you get like in his head, right? But he has not practicalized it. And that's the reason why you will not trust him with that job. Because if you trust him with the job, what if he gets to the job, he electrocutes himself, or he fixes different wires the way it's not supposed to be, and your house, catch fire, or the sockets or the whatever they fix, right, cause electrocution for any member of the household. That's the reason why companies, yes, when it comes to cybersecurity, trust me, certification is very important, especially cybersecurity. They tend to ask a lot about certifications. But if you don't have experience, you will not still get hired. That's the truth. Ask some person that have gone through several series of interviews. They will ask you some questions that are relating to understand if you've had real world experience, if you've had actual work experience. And those questions are just to, trap you. Some people can be very smart. Okay, the next cohort is in June. I'm coming to that. Okay, some people can be very smart, but trust me, there are some questions they will use to rope your neck. You cannot get away from it, and they will know that you don't have real world experience. And also the way you answer interview questions, right, is also different from somebody that's that has worked and done the job by themselves, right? You become more bold. Okay, you become bold to answer the questions, to defend what you know. Now, they wouldn't hire you, right? But they want you to have experience. And that's the reason why you realize that a lot of jobs, there are jobs though. In fact, in UK, if those of us are joining from UK is the 4th startup hub in the world. What does that mean? Israel used to be the first, but now we have, last 2 months, UK was second. Now UK is 4th. Okay, Israel used to be the first. Now US is first, followed by China, I think. So what does that mean? There are a lot of startups, coming up in UK. A lot of startups, a lot of companies are opening up in UK. UK is very conversant for them. It's very comfortable for them to open businesses. That means there are a lot of companies, a lot of jobs. But you know what the problem is? People are applying for jobs. You see some persons, they will not even finish their bootcamp and go to their LinkedIn, they put themselves data analytics professional. But when they go through interviews, or maybe technical interviews, they cannot even deliver. And it's frustrating for companies that want to hire them, because there's no way you can just say, oh, let me just hire a data analyst that is not very good at the job. It's either they are underqualified or they are overqualified. For those are ones that are overqualified, those are the people, maybe they retrench them, or those ones that be working from home and they are looking for a job. And these people are, they have high experience, they have a lot of years of experience. These companies are not looking to hire those people in that level at that moment, right? Because they cannot pay them. So these are the issues that companies are facing. Some companies take up to 2 months. It's very difficult to find people to fill up a role. Okay? And it's not because there are not candidates. There are candidates, but qualified candidates. And what makes you qualified? They're looking for candidates that have actual work experience. It's not the candidate's fault. It's just the way the job market has been structured since COVID-19 happened. Okay, companies are now skeptical. Everybody's trying to save their money. They don't want to invest in anybody. Okay, they don't want to invest in people that are still learning because they are scared that they may not be loyal after investing them, they leave or whatever it is, right? And they just want ready-made candidates. You know the job, you come in 2 weeks, you're already giving them value for the money they're paying you. That is what they want. But since they will not hire you, what are you supposed to do? Will you rather wait and sit and keep applying for jobs till maybe one miracle happens and you land the job? No, that's not what you're supposed to do. Okay, there are several ways of investment. You invest in stock, you invest in yourself. You invest in yourself by going through masters, invest in yourself by trying to, learn new skills. You invest in yourself by gaining that work experience that will land you the job, a better paying job. Okay, and that is why Amdari came up with this, right? When we build partnership with companies, they give us their unique business problems. We hire experts in these fields, experts in data analysis, data science, data engineering, business analysis, SOC analysts, ethical hacking, governance, risk, and compliance. That will be there to micromanage you as a consultant in Amdari. Okay, now these companies give us their unique business problems. Mr. Temitope is in his own team. Abdallah is in his own team, right? People that are into GRC as well, they are in their own team. Everybody have their team, they have their team lead. Do you understand? So when this project comes, your line manager takes you guys through, project overview and even technology or tool tutorial. Let me show us how the calendar, the internship calendar looks like. So you understand what I'm talking about, okay? So that is not really where you come to learn if you are someone that don't have the basic knowledge yet, okay? It's not where you come to learn, but it's where you come to, there are 4 steps or 4 different steps of learning a skill. And I'm going to tell us this, okay? These 4 steps of learning a skill, the first step is awareness. It's like, oh, I'm coming from sales and I want to go into data analysis so I can do marketing analytics. I already understand the career I want to go into, right? The second stage is knowledge stage, where I get to either, if I'm disciplined enough, if I feel like I can learn by myself, I don't need boot camp, I start taking courses on YouTube, okay, dedicate my time and learn data analysis, or I go through boot camp. That is the knowledge phase. Now, that is exactly where you come to Amdari. After you've gained the knowledge, you come to Amdari to get expertise. Expertise is the third phase. Expertise using the tools. And that is how you get hired, okay? The fourth phase is mastery. That is when, for you to get a mastery level, is when you've had like 10 years experience working on that same job, on that same role, okay? Maybe in different companies in that role for 10 years, 15 years, you've gained mastery. So you're coming to Amdari to gain expertise because you've gained the knowledge, okay? So if for persons that have not gained the knowledge yet, you will have to gain the knowledge before you join Amdari, and that's how it works. I mean, look at Mr. Abdallah, look at Temitope. They have at least basic knowledge of the career they're going into. They've taken courses, they've probably worked on some project by themselves, right? They understand at least to a certain level what the career entails. Okay, so that does not mean they know how to use all the tools. No, there are a lot of tools they've not used before, right? But coming here, they will get to know how to use it. So now look at this right here. Look at this program calendar. You see, when you join Amdari, your first week now, every time they give you, your line manager gets a project for you, they also take you through 2 training, as you can see right here, okay? They don't just let you, give you a project and just throw you under the bus. Just give you a project and tell you you're going to use Nmap, you're going to use this and let's go. No, they take you through an overview of how to use the tools. For those of us that don't know how to use the tools, okay? It is well broken down, especially your first project is very as simple and easy, just to, welcome you into how to, work in that particular career, okay? Now, what are we talking about, okay? They give you this unique business problem. Your line manager walks you through the overview. You guys work on the projects. And remember that these projects have timeline, okay? they have timeline they're supposed to submit this project so that your line manager will review it. Okay, these are real life projects, and also you get to have stand-up meetings twice weekly. Some people used to have 3 times weekly, and the time is very flexible. You get to choose the time that you have the stand-up meetings, with your colleagues. You guys will select the time that you like. Now, when you're done working on the projects, you get to present to your team members. At some point, also present to the key decision makers in this business as well. Now, Mr. Abdallah and Mr. Temitope have access to portfolio website for life. If I even ask Mr. Temitope, do you have a portfolio website before you join Amdari?
Yes, I have one on GitHub.
GitHub, but not a website that is easily
Not a
accessible.
website.
Not a website. What about you, Mr. Abdallah?
I don't.
You don't. Do you know that some persons apply for jobs with just their CV? Like, I understand it's information, okay, but sometimes I can't phantom it, because if you look at it, right, as a fashion designer, even as a hair barber shop, everybody have online presence where people get to see what they do, where people get to see their skill. Apply for a job as a tech professional, as a cybersecurity professional, using just your CV is just telling, you're just telling the recruiter what you can do. You are telling a story, okay? It's even worse for data analysts, okay? You're telling a story to a recruiter when you should be showing them the projects you've actually worked on. And for persons don't know, that could be the reason why you're not landing a job. Because while you're applying for a job, 100 other persons apply for that same job. And maybe out of 100 persons, 10 people provided portfolio. And it's, recruiters could easily see their projects, and they'll just throw the remaining CV away because you're just telling them stories. Anybody can go to, ChatGPT, you can go to DeepSeek and cook up very good English. Trust me, you can go to Google and browse GRC CV. And people that are smart, you get to see people's CV and just cook up your own. People can do that. And that's the reason why portfolio is very important. Okay, so you have access to this portfolio for life, and you're not paying extra money for it. They are here now, right? You can ask them that they are asked to pay extra money for the portfolio website or to maintain the portfolio website that they have access to right now. Okay, and this is how the portfolio website looks like. And you can even, you can link your GitHub in this portfolio. Mr. God help me. I don't know why I keep forgetting your name. Do you have you linked your GitHub here? You can link your GitHub here, right? Mr. Temitope.
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to check again. I have to check.
Yes, yes. You can. This is where you link. This is where you get to link your GitHub. Yes, that's where you get to link your GitHub. You have GitHub, and some places have GitHub. Websites, okay, where they have capstone project that they've worked on, or some coding project they've worked on. So you get to link it here. You just click on this sign here, okay, and put the URL here. So recruiters get to click on this sign. They click on this sign, and it will take them directly to your GitHub. So this is the back end of the portfolio that they have access to. Okay, you can share this portfolio across multiple, platforms. You can even copy the link, post it on your LinkedIn. And today I was taking a session. I was surprised that some persons submit their CV without having their LinkedIn URL in their CV. I mean, that's a blunder you don't want to do. Okay, your LinkedIn URL should be in your CV. Okay, and also if you have a portfolio URL should be in your CV, so that these people that you're applying for a job, they can have access to it. They look at all these things. There's some companies that they are straight away, they just submit CV, right? Some companies have processes where they will allow you to post the link. But those ones that are straight away submit CV, that's the reason why you need to have your URL, your LinkedIn URL, your portfolio URL in your CV, okay? So that they can have access to it. And this is basically how your portfolio website looks like. And you have access to this portfolio website for life as well, okay? It's very easy to build. I would not like to dwell so much on this. So you also get to have Learn platform, okay? For some of us, our knowledge is rusty. You have access to this Learn platform, crash courses where you get to, refreshing your memory for the things you've forgotten, okay? For example, this is cybersecurity now. When you want to check networking incidents and security incident direction, clinical network security and incident detection, you click on the course, okay? You get to have videos to watch concerning computer networking security, the networking cases. Some persons have learned this during their boot camp, but maybe they didn't start the internship just immediately after their bootcamp and the knowledge is rusty, you can always come to the Learn platform. You have access to it as well, okay? To apply, to, watch some videos, some tutorials as well, okay? To help you remember some things you've forgotten. Now, we rebrand you. I mean, some of us that have joined us today have also joined us in our one-on-one session. So I'm sure my colleagues are dropping the link to the one-on-one session. So if you'd like to join our one-on-one session, okay, where if you have more questions, you can also click on the link, book a one-on-one session with us next week, and we'll have to talk to you. Ask any question you have, okay? So the projects they are working on, trust me, they are working on projects across multiple industries. I mean, they are here. So that's the reason why if I talk, I ask them questions, let it not be like I'm bluffing us, right? I'm not even showing us the other side. Let it not be like I'm bluffing us. Mr. Temitokwe, the projects you're working on, are they in one industry? Like
no. Across various industries.
Across various industries, exactly.
Yes.
That is exactly how the distinct. Because trust me, it's important that you stand a better chance, right? When you are a professional that have had experience across various industries, being that versatile, okay? Especially as a data analyst now. I mean, cybersecurity professionals, while it may not really affect them that much, right? But you see, data analysts, because you're going to be dealing with data in different industries, okay? If you are someone coming from e-commerce, you have experience in an e-commerce company, it will be a little difficult for you, in fact, not a lot difficult for you to go from e-commerce like Amazon to a bank or a fintech company. Because the data for these two companies, they are different. That does not mean that you're not good. That does not mean if they give you 1 month, you cannot understand how to navigate the kind of data that they have, right? You can analyze, do everything you need to do, right? But they always prefer candidates that have experience in their industry so that it's easier for that person to understand the kind of data they're working with. Do you understand? And that's the reason why when we are building partnership, we ensure that the partners we have are cut across multiple industries. So the projects we'll be working on are across multiple industries again. So you don't get to work on just first projects you're doing e-commerce, second project you're doing e-commerce, third project, all the duration of your. Go ahead, Mr. Abdallah. You can. I mean, even Mr. Temitokwe, you can go. I mean, that's the reason why I allowed them to ask us questions earlier, okay? Before, so that you can have time for yourself. I know that it's very late where you are right now. Exactly. Thank you so much. So you get to work on projects across multiple industries, and that way you get to eliminate the bias of applying for a job and the company is saying, we are looking for candidates that have experience in a particular industry and you don't have it, okay? Now, they work with you to revamp your CV. I mean, as you're seeing them right here, they have really revamped their CV, optimized their LinkedIn. And as an intern in Amdari, part of your KPI is to apply for jobs. Okay, you get to apply for jobs first 2 months. As you're working on projects, you apply for jobs because the focus at that moment is to get as much interview as possible so that you can build your skill. Okay, you can understand how interviews process are being, interview questions are being asked, what is expected of you to answer, and Amdari also prepares you for interviews and have mock interviews with you, right? So when you pass through a lot of interviews, you get to assess yourself. You assess yourself. Your first interview cannot be like your fifth interview. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Okay, me, when I had my first interview after many years of working in a particular company, it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Even though I know that, yes, I worked in this company for 4 years, but I left. Now I'm looking for a job and I'm passing through, interviews. I didn't have the confidence because when I was working in that company, I was not passing through, interviews. So, but the more interview I go through, the more my confidence, the more I understand the questions they were asking. Because every interview you can, address yourself and say, okay, I fucked up in this interview. Excuse my language. I messed up in this interview. These are the things that I didn't know. How would I answer this question? Sometimes you go to TikTok, and I went to TikTok, to understand how to answer some of the interview questions. So the more you pass through interview questions, the more you understand the questions being asked. Some companies even go ahead to take you through technical interviews. So imagine, that's the reason why that first 2 months, your focus should be getting as much interview as possible. So you're not focusing on landing or applying for only remote jobs or hybrid jobs or on-site jobs or jobs that pay better. At that moment, your focus is to get as much interview as possible. So you should be applying for on-site jobs, hybrid jobs, remote jobs. You should be applying for jobs that are paying well. The ones that are not paying well, just keep applying because your CV has been revamped, your LinkedIn has been optimized already. So nothing is stopping you from applying for jobs. And you've worked on at least 2 projects. That's the reason why we did it. You must have worked on 2 projects before they revamp your CV, right? Now, we also put you through interview preparation and have mock interview with you. when we have mock interview with you and then give you feedback. And it's not Amdari people that have an interview with you. We have external recruiters that will have interview with you. Then you start facing interviews, right? Every interview you should have an assessment. Assess yourself. What gaps do I have? How can I close it? I mean, you are still in the internship. If it's a technical interview, you feel like you didn't do good, you did not do good in the interview, you realize the gaps you have your line managers there, you let them know, oh, I had an interview yesterday and this is the gap I have in this particular thing. I couldn't answer this question, right? You have leverage to ask as many questions as possible. You have leverage, you have colleagues. Some persons has had more experience than you. Communicate among team members, communicate with your line manager. They are there to ensure that you build this skill and land the job. That is the plan, right? So all you just have to do every day that, I mean, you have stand-up meetings twice weekly where they get to catch up with you. But all you have to do every day, dedicate 1 hour, work on the project that you have, work on the project that they've been giving to you, okay? Now, that does not end there. Like you can see, they also get to have multiple technology experience. The first project, they didn't use so much in, software. Now they are using a lot of software that they are having some little difficulties now. It's no longer as easy as it was in the first one, right? So with Amdari, you get to exercise your hands, building skills across multiple industries. And I will tell you why this is important. Now, I always use this as an example. If as a data analyst, right, you get hired in a small ice cream shop, and you know that in this analysis, when you get to use the programming languages is when you are working on, for example, a large data set. Now, you got hired in a small ice cream shop that does not have a lot of customers. If you work there for 4 years, you're likely going to only build experience using only Excel, because there's no need. You don't have a reason to use R. You don't have a reason to use SQL. You don't have a reason to use Python as a software because they don't have customers as much, okay? You'll be a candidate that has worked in a company for 4 years, but the only software you know how to use is probably Power BI and Excel. And trust me, when you leave that company, right, it will be difficult for you to land a better paying job, because every company that can pay you, any company that will pay you better is a bigger company that has like over 1,000 staff, over 3,000 staff, 5,000 staff, right? And these companies are dealing with huge data. And you cannot use Excel to solve this data problem. You need R skill, you need SQL skill, you need to know Python, okay, to work on this project, to analyze these projects, right? Or to analyze their data, sorry. Do you understand? And that we understand that, and that's the reason why you get to work on multiple, use multiple tools to work on projects. Like you rightly saw, their first projects, they just use how many tools that they found very easy. They made everything very easy to them. Now they're working on as many, using as many tools as possible to work on projects. And that is exactly how Amdari prepares you to land a job. Now you also get job reference letter from Amdari, and that is mainly the basics for gaining work experience. Okay, companies want to have a company they can hold. Okay, this company trusts that you worked on this project. This person is speaking on your behalf, right? Amdari gives you that job reference letter. Okay, and we've sent out a lot of persons that people have gotten a job. I wish they are still here. I would have asked them, right? People have gotten jobs while still doing this internship by the virtue of taking their KPI serious, which is either applying for that jobs I told us about, right? You get job reference letter from Amdari, okay, where we get to attest that yes, you are a consultant with us, you worked with us, and yes, you did all this project yourself. Nobody helped you, right? And then we also give you on the job support, because let's face it, okay? So people have, I always forget this, what they call it, you get to sabotage yourself. You don't have confidence, right? You don't have confidence that, you can actually do well in the job that hired you. So we render on the job support for you, and you're not paying for it, okay? You're not paying for it. We understand that you still don't have the confidence. So when you are really hired in a company and you're having difficulty navigating any particular tool, just the way we help you as an intern in Amdari, we also help you when you've already landed the job, until you no longer need us, okay? Until you no longer need Amdari to help you. By that time, you build a skill and you no longer need Amdari's help to help you navigate some of the difficulties you may face when you land, when you work on projects for the company that hired you. Sorry, I'm trying to plug my phone. It is dying, okay? Now, we have our cohort that is open for, we have a cohort open for June and July, but currently we're running a discount, like I said, 16% discount for the first 20 persons. This cohort opened or started in December, This cohort started on Saturday, which is 10th, when the last person that joined us had their onboarding. So the first 20 persons that will be joining this cohort will be having, will be receiving 16% discount. So if you want to take advantage of the discount and, you can make your payments, all right? Oh, sorry, my Just give me a minute, please. So if you want to take advantage of the discount, you can pay in 5 installments for the 6 months work experience internship and 3 installments for the 3 months work experience internship. That means using £150 to secure your spots for the 6 months work experience or 3 months work experience using £130. Okay. So I'm going to walk us through the payments, structure. I'm going to drop the link on how to make payments on the chat right now if you want to secure your spot and secure the discount. Okay. Now I'm going to drop the. So if you click on the link I'm dropping on the chat right now. Okay, my colleagues already dropped the link. So if you click on the link, it's going to take you to this page. Okay, so this is how you navigate how to secure your, secure the discounts. Scroll down if you want to go for any of the cybersecurity, specializations. We have SOC analytics, we have ethical hacking, and we have governance, risk, and compliance. Okay, you scroll down, you get to see it. So if you also don't want to go for any of the cybersecurity course, you want to go for data science, data engineering. I mean, this is just how to make your payment. But I'm going to use cybersecurity because this is what we have today as a product showcase. So if you want to go for ethical hacking, just click on secure your internship. Okay. Now it's going to bring you to this page. To bring us to this page. All right. So wherever you are is going to take the currency of your location. Okay. So, but if it does not take the currency of your location, at the top right hand side here, just select your currency, the currency of the you want to pay with. If you want to pay in dollars, you can click on dollars, whatever currency you want to pay with, right? Then scroll down. Scroll down. What's wrong with you? I think my hands are a bit slippery. So slow down and click on 3 monthly plan. So for those of us that want to go for the 3 months, yes, you can, we apply for another 3 months. Okay. So you can actually secure your internship, your discounts now. And if you want to go for 6 months, you can also like reapply for another 3 months to complete your 6 months. Click on secure your internship. And this is the payment structure. Click on proceed. And then fill in your details, your name, your email address, your number. Your phone number is optional if you'd like to fill it in. If you don't like, just click on proceed. Okay. And here they're asking me to confirm my email looks good. Now fill in your card details and make payments. Now when you make a payment and this page is successful, it's going to take you to this place we came out from. Okay, it's going to bring you back to this place. And the reason is because they need you to fill this payments registration form. And you will also receive an email from Mainstack. That's a payments confirmation email. Please, that could serve as your receipt, okay? Because when you are filling this form, they will ask you to upload the receipts. It can serve as your receipt. Just take a screenshot of it. Now, when it brings you to this page, just click on payments registration form, all right? And fill your details in. It's not going to take you a lot of time. Just fill your details in. Your name, your first name, last name, as required, registration email, country of residence, and so on and so forth. Your phone number, you go to next. Go to next. So here, you fill in your internship plan. Which program do you want to go for? If you want to go for SOC analytics, whatever you want to go for, just select it as well, okay? And then upload the receipt I told us about. So if you have other forms of receipts, you can upload it. But if you don't, that screenshot is enough, okay? Then state the name of the account you use in making payment and read our terms and condition and select yes. Now, this is for persons that would like to go for 6 months. So maybe you must have selected 3 months and you paid for 3 months, but you know that in future you'd like to go for 6 months, you can select 6 months. If you know absolutely not, you just want to do 3 months and that's it. Select 3 months, okay? And then you go to next. You click on next. Now, for those of us that want to go for 6 months, right? Some persons like to, combine 2 programs together, 2 related programs, not 2 distinctively different programs, okay? That means some persons that have, maybe they have Python skill or they have Python knowledge, they still want to improve their Power BI skill, SQL and R, and still gain experience working in data science. They go for data science, data analytics. Okay, same way, those in cybersecurity, some people combine SOC analytics and GRC, or ethical hacking and GRC, or stock analytics and ethical hacking. Some combine business analysis and project management, okay, as well. Some also do like data analytics and business analysis because they're closely related as well. So if you would like to split your internship, just select yes, and then tell us which program you want to go for the first 3 months and which one you would like to go for the last 3 months or the second 3 months, right? And then you click on next. That is what this particular page is all about, okay? But if you don't want to do that, just select no and keep it going, right? Now here, you tell us when you would like to join the cohort, okay? Some persons like to secure this discount and defer their admission to July when they feel like they don't have time for June. Maybe they're busy or they're still running a program. You can secure your discount and defer your admission to July. And this is where you get to select, you will defer your admission to July. But if you know you don't mind starting in June, okay, you can select that June as well. Then tell us where you found out about Amdari and what influenced your decision, okay, to subscribe to the Rave by Amdari program. And that is all. So I will allow us now, if you have any questions for me, we can go ahead and ask me. Okay, you can raise your hands and ask me your questions. I'm going to share this tab. But if we don't have questions, then we'll probably call it a night. So do we have questions for me? Kobe, do you have questions for me? No. Okay, so I will take it as no question. So thank you guys for joining us, and I hope to see some of us. Thank you, Kobe. I hope to see you, Kobe, right? I hope to see you join the next cohort of July. I hope to see you secure your spot. Thank you, Princess Samuel, for your questions. Thank you, Kobe. Thank you, T-Blaze. Okay, I'll be looking out for you. Thank you, Jay, and everyone that joined us tonight. And have a good night's rest. Bye.